at Smith Elementary, Webster Stanley Middle, and Carl Traeger Middle. Today I want to show you a tool that's called XC Collaboration that will help you make your smartboard a little bit more interactive and help you get students involved with what's up here. Okay, so we're going to use that tool in just a second. So to start off with, I've just opened up Smart Notebook, and in this case we're going to be doing some math applications a little bit. As you can see up in the top here, I just have a command up here that says show different ways to make 15. So when we have that open, I'm going to try to get students to submit their responses directly up here. I want them to be able to show me how they make 15, and I want them to have some options. I want them to either type it to me, I want them to be able to speak it into an iPad or a Chromebook, and I'd also like for them to be able to maybe draw a picture on a sheet of paper and then be able to submit that picture on the sheet of paper right up here to the smartboard so I can get all the different options of the ways to make 15. Okay, so today I'll be using an iPhone for this, but it's very similar to using an iPad mini that you might have in your classroom. Functions with the exact same operating system. So to start off with now, I've got my activity available and ready in my Smart Notebook, and I'm going to go over to the left-hand side in Smart Notebook to where my options menu is. And I'm going to go ahead and click on where the little blue puzzle piece is. If I click on that blue puzzle piece, it brings open a couple of what's called add-ons in Smart Notebook. One of those add-ons is called XC Collaboration. And so if I go ahead and click on the one that's called XC Collaboration, for me, it takes me directly to XC Collaboration. For you, it's going to ask you if you want to start your free trial. And we have a 30-day free trial for XC Collaboration at this point. So if you want to start that 30-day trial, the very first time that you're ready to make an activity, this is what you would do. So as soon as you push that button, it takes you to this menu. Now I have to start a session in XC Collaboration so that the technology knows which students I want to work with and then what I want them to do. So what happens is on the very first screen, it says, how do you want students to join this XC Collaboration session? I'll go ahead and click on Enter Name instead of anonymously because I'd like to know what the students' names are and also which picture or which piece of information that they submitted. In XC Collaboration, one of the benefits is that it brings you to a session ID, and that session ID is how the technology identifies that we are actually using this session. The other cool thing is that XC Collaboration comes with what's called a QR code. The QR code looks like this, and this is a very quick way to have students be able to link up with this without really having to type anything. So this is an older one from an older session, so I'm going to go and delete that one. But I'm going to go into XC Collaboration again and click where it says Insert QR Code. And it inserts a very large QR code for me. And this QR code up here is actually one that that is specific to this session, and then it has a website on the top of it, and it says visit send2nb.com. So if the students were on a Chromebook, that's what they would type in to get there, and they would also have to on a Chromebook type in these numbers right here. On an iPad though, or on an iPhone, it's very easy for me to put my cell phone up here, my iPad, and just scan that. And when I scan it, all those digits will automatically be typed in there for me, which is pretty nice, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller, because the QR code, it doesn't really matter what size it is, as long as you have the entire thing on the screen. So I'm going to make mine pretty small, because the students I'm focusing on are ones that would be using either iPads or something with a camera, okay? They do need a QR code reader on their iPad or their phone. So in this case, we're going to be using one that's called QR Code Reader by Scan. So if you type in QR Code Reader by Scan into the Apple App Store, this is the one that will come up, and it's free, and it's probably the easiest one for kids to use because it just takes them directly to the page. It doesn't give them too many options as to what they can do with that QR code. Okay? So I'll demonstrate that now. I want to go ahead and join my session right now. So I'm going to unlock my iPad, and I'm going to go to my QR Code Reader. And all I really have to do is go ahead and take my my phone and put it over top of that QR code, and then that scans the page for me just like it would on an iPad. And if I go ahead and get to that session, what ends up happening then is I have on my screen now an XC Collaboration page, and it has the session number already typed in for me, which is very, very nice. And then what XC Collaboration does, it says for me to type in my name. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and type in my name. And luckily I'm on a newer phone here, so on this newer phone, very much like an iPad mini, I have the ability to actually click into there and then say my name aloud. If a student struggles with that, you can have them say their names aloud, and the Siri function on there will actually record their name into the box, which is pretty cool. Okay? So now I'm connected as a student, but unfortunately, as a teacher, I have not actually started this activity. I have to go through and configure the activity a little bit so that the technology knows what I want it to do. So the student submissions on here can be put in a random position. They can be put in a list, a stack, a category, or anything like that. So in this case, I want them to go in basically random position. I don't really care where the students submitted on the page. I just want it to go up here, and I plan to drag them around anyway. I would like the students to be able to insert images because it allows them a lot of flexibility with how they decide to make 15 or whatever it is that they're working on. Okay? I'm going to have it auto-insert a new page just in case I have lots of responses, so I would like the activity to continue and not be confined by the amount of space that I have on one Smart Notebook page. I'm also going to go down here and say that I would like to allow the text colors so that students have the opportunity to type in whatever color they want. Not that it really matters, but it gives them a chance to personalize it a little bit. And then down here, I have options for how many times each student can submit. So if I want students to submit once and they only have that one chance to do it, this is where I can choose one. My options are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or I can choose the any, and any allows me to go ahead and that student can submit as many times as they need to, which is pretty nice. So for this activity, I'm going to go ahead and click on any and make the whole thing, just allow me to submit however many times I want, okay? I lost my QR code because of my phone locks up quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up again. All right, so I go ahead and go to that URL, and now the next thing the teacher has to do is just go ahead and push the Start Activity button. When they push the Start Activity button, then it's automatically activated for me on here. And so now I see a screen that allows me to interact with the smartboard. And my screen basically just has a message, an upload image, a couple different font colors, and a send button. And that's really it. So in my session here, I'm going to go ahead and make sure, first of all, that I have any selected. So I'm going to go ahead and start my activity there. Okay, and so I have lots of different options as to how I can make 15. But one of the things I want to do the most in this session is make sure that when I make 15, that I have the ability to use pictures for that 15. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have my allow images on there, and then I have my text colors, and that I choose any. Okay. Then I go ahead and start the activity, and the students are ready to go. So in this particular video, I want to make sure that we use the right tools. And so there are some tools and ways that kids can easily make 15 digitally if they don't want to do so on a piece of paper. So the mathlearningcenter.org has made a number rack that you can use on a computer or on an iPad or on a phone, and you can go ahead and make those use the number rack just as you would in a classroom, as it's touch activated and you can move it around. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do really quickly on here, and I'm going to go ahead and upload an image in just a second after I use my my number rack. Okay. Okay, so now that we've had an opportunity to go ahead and create some things, I want to go ahead and submit those to XT Collaboration at this time. So while we're on the break there, I went ahead and made a couple different versions that I might imagine kids make. So the first one here, I'm going to go ahead and upload an image then of using a number rack. So let's go ahead and grab it from the photo library. So I click on Upload Image, and I just grab it from the photo library. So I took a screenshot of what I did by pushing the Home button and the Power button at the same time. That takes a screenshot of whatever's on my page. So the kids will do the same thing. So I'll go ahead and grab that picture, and then I just push the Send button, and then what happens is that picture shows up on here. Now on an iPod or an iPad, an iPhone, this is actually pretty small, so it might not be the best representation of how you do it. You make it a little larger, and you can start to see, though, in this case, that this student actually did make 15 here by having 8 on the top and 7 on the bottom there, okay? So I can shrink that one up a little bit, make it a little smaller, and then we'll go ahead and upload a different image from a different student. So I'll go ahead and grab again from the photo library. So this student then might have used pencils to go ahead and make 15. So they just took some objects from around the room and sent those in there. So this might be a different group. So as this group takes those pencils, and those pencils then come up on the page here, so I just put some on the floor, and now you can see that makes 15. You've got a group of 10 and a group of 5 right there, so that's making 15. It's a possibility. And then let's go ahead and grab a different one that students might have been able to come up with. So another from the photo library. This one's using Keynote on the iPad, and this one just student grabbed a couple of dots and duplicated those dots a couple times, so when that one pops through, have that come up here. This is a good way to make 15 right here as well. You have 3 sets of 5. So there's all different types of options that that students are able to do. So using that bead rack, maybe using pencils from around the room, maybe using another program that's in there is a good thing. If a student actually knows how to do this in a certain way, they might say 10 plus 5. And I said 10 plus 5 by clicking in the message area there, and then clicking the Siri button on my keyboard and just push send right there. And in a random location, that 10 plus 5 would come in there. So for upper level students possibly, that might be an option that's available. They can also type that in there in a different color if they want to. So I'll choose green for this one because that might be the group that I want. My group might be green, for example, and say just, for example, 8 plus 7. And then send that information through. And so the 8 plus 7 will come up eventually, and there it is here, okay? So we can look at and organize these in different ways. So these ones were organized by picture. This picture then could be organized in this way, so different ways to show the objects of 15, and then different ways to write that mathematically so that you can see that 10 plus 5, 8 plus 7, these are all 15. At the same time, conceptually, they're 15 if you look at it this way as well, okay? So this is a way to use XD Collaboration. There's lots and lots of different stuff you can do with it. The cool thing is that now this can be saved to be used at a later time. You can use these objects then for later lessons. Take pictures of this whole option here, and it's a pretty nice thing. If you're an elementary teacher, you could have one activity up on the board like this, and then have the iPads around that activity, and then have the students go ahead and submit their answers up here while other students are working on things. So you're not really limited to whether or not you have a full classroom of iPads or a smaller number. And in fact, a smaller number of iPads would probably actually work a little bit better, okay? So that's a pretty quick tutorial on XD Collaboration. Let me know again if you'd like me to come into your classroom and run a session with students. I could take a group of 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever and run through this. Otherwise, if you have devices checked out, like a Chromebook card or something like that, I can help you implement this throughout the day. So certainly contact your tech coach at your school, and we'll try to help you start using XD Collaboration a little bit and make this smartboard thing a little bit more interactive. All right, thanks for watching.